Hey guys, it's been a while, I know. I do apologise. Unfortunately, around about a month ago, I had a very nasty virus, which basically wiped me out of action for 2 weeks so badly I was off work for 2 weeks. But thankfully, I'm back to normal. Service is resumed again, and it's been a bit busy while I've been off as well, work. And I'm on the second week now of holiday. So I've been busy elsewhere, etc., trying to catch up with people. And even today, obviously, during the fortnight, we got the sad news that the old Queen had passed away. Bless her heart. Remarkable record of service to the country. I personally went up there with a friend of mine, Rosie Webb, this morning, and her mother, Kate Frost, to all pay our respects to the Queen at the gate to back gate along the long walk to Windsor Castle. I have to say, I've never seen so many flowers in all my life. Either where the actual road going up to the castle, all you could see was a pure bed of flowers. So it just shows you how much affection there was for the old Queen. And she may be gone, bless her heart, but she will never ever be forgotten, and she will remain on record as the longest reigning monarch we've ever had. In fact, a lot of us, I'm sure, have never ever known any other monarch in our lifetime. And obviously now we've got King Charles III, bless him. So God save the King. So yeah, it's been quite a week. And obviously we've got the funeral on Monday, which has been declared a bank holiday, and quite rightly my workplace is having the store closed in honour of her, because she actually graciously visited us around about 4 years ago, when the lexicon was officially opened by her. Yes, it was quite a day, and it's a day that will long live in my memory. Anyway, moving on from that, I have, as promised, the inbox review as regards the Airfix 172nd Vickers Wellington Mk2, and as we all know, it was built of a geodetic structure which was actually thought of and designed by Barnes Wallis on the Airship 101, and I think he was also I think he had his input on the design of the Wellington as well, and then the crews that knew it loved it because of its hard wearing endurance in regard to battle damage. Admittedly, it was withdrawn from frontline service in Bomber Command in 1943, but it did soldier on in other fields of the conflict of World War II and was produced right up until 1945. And the crews that flew on it loved it. And obviously the last inbox review I did of the Airfix Wellington was the Mark 1C, which was the initial variant. This one is the B Mark 2, which was fitted with Merlin engines. I think it was something they were going to try and use. It was the only variant that had the Mark 2 Merlin engines, because obviously when it got onto the Mark 3, Merlins were basically used for supplying Spitfires, Hurricanes, and obviously the new Lancaster that was then coming into production and in service. So obviously the future marks of the Wellington referred back to the Wright Cyclone engine and the Hercules engine again. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, without further ado, I'm just going to turn the camera down and you'll see it for yourself. Right, let's get the camera down, and here she is. And when this was announced, I basically thought, right, unfortunately I did actually sell on the Mark 1C, which I regret to the day now, because to get hold of one of them it's going to cost you a bomb, because they're out of production now. I think the only other company that does them is Italeri, and I think MPM do various marks of the Wellington, although there is a Mark 7 version with radar on the back of the spine, which was used in Coastal Command and I think out in the Middle East, I'm not sure. But that one is still in production. I think you can still just about get hold of it. But this is the interestingly Merlin engine version of the B Mark II. As I say, it was just as sturdy as its predecessor, took a lot of battle damage, and the crews that flew on it loved it. Although there was a high loss rate on the Wellingtons. So there you go. And as you can see here from the inbox art review, you can see from, sorry, I've got my wires crossed then. As you can see from the box art, it's depicting a typical picture of Wellington Mk2 out on a raid. So yeah, over either Berlin or many of the other German occupied cities throughout Europe. And you can have the option of 2 variants from 2 squadrons. So there you go. Anyway, without further ado, we'll get on with the inbox review itself. Now, if you want to get hold of one of these, the actual kit number, if I can find it on the box, is A08021. That's A08021. And if you want to freeze frame it on the video, by all means do so. It comes in 1/72. And again, you got the box art on the top and around the sides. Obviously with the, oh hang on, to turn that up around the right way. I know the box is upside down. There's a little bit of a background on the B Mark II on the Wellington itself, and then obviously you've got the 2 colour call outs, and obviously with being directed by Hornby, you've got all the colour numbers for the Humbrol paint range, although you can use the Hobby Colour app if you want to use any other product on your phone. You can download that from Play Store. And again, and obviously, whoops a daisy, my lamp nearly went flying then, sorry about that. Obviously you've got all the various warnings about not suitable for children under 36 months. It contains small parts which are present. A choking hazard. Please retain these details and the address for future reference. Caution, please remove all packaging before giving the toy to a child. And that's all in the various languages, as you can see there. Okay, right, let's open the box. Again, we've got the instruction sheet in the typical pamphlet form that Hornby do now. Again, you've got a little bit of a history on the aircraft, what the diameter and dimensions of the actual air. Is that the kit or is the actual aircraft? I think it's the actual aircraft, and what its bomb load was. Again, you've got that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different languages. It's produced by Hornby, as you can see there. And if anybody has seen a programme on yesterday about Hornby, by all means do so. Apparently they're filming the 2nd series at the moment. Can't remember the name of the series, but if I know, I will get back to you on that in a future video, and that should be out later this year. So let's have a look at the instruction sheet. Again, you've got all the symbols for the build, which indicate what it means. Little notes here on the actual interior of the kit, as you can see there. It says there are many detailed parts provided in this kit which fit inside the fuselage, which are not easily visible on the completed model, can therefore be left out of the construction if preferred. These parts are highlighted in green, as you can see there, throughout these instructions. Now, what I'm thinking of doing with this one is doing it as a cutout kit, so you can actually see the interior, because it seems a great shame that you've got all that detail and it's not seen. So that is my proposed idea for when I get around to building this kit. Right, moving on. First process is the actual floor and geodetic floor and bulkhead, which go together. And then obviously you've got the radio receiver, which goes onto the bulkhead. And then obviously you've got the bulkhead for the seat for the, I would imagine, navigator station, which goes on. And then obviously another part of the actual bomb, I think the bombay frame, which goes on, and then it's showing the angle to have them at. Okay, and obviously it's got a little paint guide as to the actual frame for the bombay, where actually you go there, and that's showing the angle that it should be at. Then you fit the pilot seat to the back bulkhead, to the cockpit, And then obviously you fit the floor and paint as directed, including the control panel. That is then fitted onto the bulkhead along with the via the pilot's seat, and that's showing the indication of the angle it should be sitting at. And then you've got the chemical toilet. Yes, believe it or not, they have to use a chemical toilet on the flight, and it was only used for urinating, not number 2. So if they were desperate to go, they had to hold it, the poor buggers. That's true as well. And then obviously you've got the interior of the fuselage. Indicated are where to put the holes for the bombay, whether you want it opened or closed. I am personally going to have it opened. And obviously you've got a indication as to cut away apart the plastic for where the front turret goes. Okay, and then again you've obviously got holes for where you fit the enclosed bombay. Okay, and showing you the detail of the geodetic construction inside. Now it's telling you also to put in holes. What they're for, I'm not quite sure. Maybe the bulkheads, which are placed on the interior of the right hand side of the fuselage, which you can see here, panels, etc. And there's a little sort of indication as to what it will look like from the outside. Okay, that's the oxygen bottles. I'm not quite sure what the other parts are. If you know of that, just give me a comment in the comment column at the end of this video. And again, then there's the fitment of the main sort of flooring and part of the bombay and pilot's cockpit, which go into the left hand side of the fuselage. And then the fitment of the actual control panel to the interior of the cockpit. And you do have decals for this as well. I might see if I can get an aftermarket set, which will make it more realistic. And then another bulkhead goes in between the actual turret and the cockpit, which you can see there. Rear of the bulkhead goes on to where the, I would imagine, the wireless operator station is. Was that the wireless operator station there? That must be the navigator station. The desk goes in. Yep, that's the navigator's desk, along with the decal for the map. And then there's the navigator's seat as well. So there you go. More interior framework goes into the interior of the fuselage, as is indicated on there. And also some more oxygen bottles, and I'm not quite sure what that is. Again, just leave a comment in the column. Rear bulkhead goes into where the rear turret is, and then you've got another floor panel, which I assume is the housing for the tailplane and cables, etc. And then again you've got another rear bulkhead which goes in after that. Upper part of the, where are we? Well, I've lost my way, sorry. Step 25 is, I think, another bulkhead for the actual turret. Okay, and it shows you what angle that should be sitting at. And again, same with the tail end Charlie, which you can see there as well. More interior detail goes onto the right side near the tail end section. More oxygen bottles go inside the interior on the right hand side of the fuselage, along with what looks to be the camera for the bomber. This is showing the position where the oxygen mask and the actual camera go. And again, you've got the wing spar that goes in, and then the two fuselage halves are joined. Okay, now you've got the option of having the bombay closed, which you can see here, all covered up. And obviously it's a little note again. It says, when building the model with undercarriage in the down position, follow steps 31 to 37 on page 8 and miss out steps 38 to 44 on page 9 and step 49 on page 11. And it says, when building with the undercarriage in the up position, miss out steps 31 to 37 on page 8 and follow steps 38 to 49 on pages 9, 10 and 11. Then miss out steps 50 to 55 on page 11. So you just have to keep referring to that, to whichever option you're going to have. Then it's the fitment of the, oh crikey, sorry, I'm trying to keep this still. Undercarriage bays for where the engine nacelles go. Again, you've got the main frame for the undercarriage go in, the two halves go together along with the air scoops, and then you've got the colour call out for the air scoop. Then that is fitted onto the upper part of the wing, and you can see, as indicated in here, the rest of the engine nacelle goes on. Okay. Once that's done, you put the landing lights in onto the lower part of the wing. Again, the fitment of the other side where the engine bay goes. Again, where that is selected into the left hand side of the wing or right hand side of the wing, as you can see there. I don't know, it's telling you to cut parts bit here, 38, 39. Oh, I've jumped, sorry guys. Then you go on to that step, that step, that step, and that step. So my apologies, got carried away there. And then obviously you've got the upper and lower halves of the wings, which are fitted together along with the elevators. Okay, as is indicated there. Then you got the firewalls which go on, and obviously if you're having the undercarriage up, the doors go on. If you're having the undercarriage down, which I will be, there is the indication of where all the hydraulics go. Okay, and obviously where the firewall goes for the engines. Okay, as you can see there. Right, next step. Having done that, you fit the wings to the fuselage, obviously connecting onto the main wing spar, which will give the right angle of dihedral. And again, with the rear tail wheel, you can either have the gear bay doors up or opened. Okay, then it's the fitment of the actual tail rudder halves, including the tail elevator, which then go onto the back spine of the fuselage along with the elevator, and then obviously you've got the tail planes which are interconnected again, and then obviously the rudders and the tail planes go on. Okay, having done that, the next step is the assembly of the air scoops and radiators onto the Merlin engines, which are in two halves which fit together and then are connected onto the firewall of the engine. Okay, as is indicated here at that angle. Okay, and there you have it. Once they are fitted on, the next step is the assembly of the actual bombs, which are then connected into the mid-section of the undercarriage of the bombay, which you can see there, which goes into the bombay itself. And there's a lovely amount of detail. That's why I'm going to keep the bombay doors opened. And then obviously you got the fitment of the guns to the actual turret. As you can see here, and the back of the turret goes on, the glazing goes on the front turret, which then goes into the nose. And again, the same process with the rear turret as well. Okay, which is then fitted onto the back of the actual aircraft. Then you've got the side windows which go in on the fuselage. And then the little observation screen there for the navigator. And obviously you've got the side windscreens which go on as well onto the fuselage, and then the fitment of the actual wheels, which actually have got weighted wheels, which I'm pleased about. They then go onto the hydraulic part of the undercarriage, and as you can see there, this is how it should sit when it's done. And then the final process are putting on the exhausts to the engines, the glass for the bomb aimer's position, and then obviously got the, I don't know what those are, scoops, I don't know, sure. And then obviously got the, excuse me, get myself tongue tied now, the fitment of the propeller hub. Exhaust stacks go on either side of the engines, propeller hub goes in. As you can see there, that's how it should be set up, either side. And then also, what else has got to go on? Fitment of the radio mast or the aerial scoop, radio, antennae, etc. Lumps and bumps go on. Propeller hub goes on and cover. Propellers go on, and then obviously you've got the crew ladder as well. And the actual glazing for the cockpit goes on. And that, I think, is virtually... Oh, you've got the option of having the side windscreen open if you should so wish. So you've got two cockpit glazings. And that is the assembly of your kit. So there you go. And then obviously you've got a colour call out, which is done in this lovely laminated paper. One of two options. The first colour call out is for an aircraft from 305 Polish Squadron, Royal Air Force Lindholm, South Yorkshire, England, June 1942, with the black undersides and basically dark earth and matte yellow. No, that's not right. Dark earth, dark green, upper surfaces again. Okay. And then on the opposite side, the other option you've got is for an aircraft of 214 Squadron, Royal Air Force Waltham, Lincolnshire, England, March 1942. So there you have it. Again, the same virtual colour call outs. There you go. Right. The most interesting part. Again, with Airfix, it all comes in one bag of sprues. Okay. So I'm going to undo the back of that, and again I've forgotten my scissors, so you'll have to bear with me 2 minutes. I'm just going to go and get them again. I'm forever doing this, so bear with me guys. I'm just going to put that down there, and it looks like comprehensive sprues as well. Right, I'm back guys, sorry about that. Or as Jerry would say, sorry about that. Right, here we go, got myself a scalpel. Just going to open that up. And I want to have a look at the sprues. Right, so, oh, done it again. Sorry about that. God almighty, it's one of those days today. Right, my apologies. Everything went flying for a minute then. Right, so you've basically got, I think, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws. So I'll have a look at the first screw, which isn't that big. Oh, excuse me. And then we've got the tail planes here, and I just love the texture of the geodetic skin there. That is beautifully produced. You've got the radiator grill radiators here. That's the radiator grills, which you can see there. And there's some nice detail on that. And obviously you've got the exhaust stacks there for the Merlin engine. nicely reproduced propeller blades there. And again, as I say, you've got the parts for the propellers there, and then obviously the two sides of the engine covers. So yes, again, as I say, the texture, hang on, let's get the light in there. You can just see where the geodetic structure on the linen is. That's beautifully produced on the actual tail planes there. Nice. Okay. Next screw. You've got all the various oxygen bottles. You've got the radio set there for the wireless operator, which is nicely reproduced. I'm not quite sure what this is meant to be. I don't know if it's part of the wiring or radio deck inside. I'm not sure. Obviously, you've got your oxygen sections there. This is the part of the turret, probably the nose or the rear end turret. Nice detail on the guns there. Beautifully reproduced. A lot better than the old boxing, I must admit. As the old boxing was a bit crude. There's the cockpit floor, a little bit of the framing for the bombay. There's your bombs, nicely reproduced. And again, part of the actual engineering, your frame for the undercarriage. And there's your wheels, which are beautifully moulded, even with weighted wheels, which is nice. And again, this is the ring for the turrets. I'm not quite sure what these parts are. Oh yeah, you've got the yoke there for the cockpit. Rear part of the doors for the turrets. That's your control panel there, which obviously you're going to need to put decals on. I might look at getting some etched brass pre-painted aftermarket detail if possible. So I'll have a look at that. You've got your undercarriage, parts of the undercarriage there, and hydraulics, nicely reproduced as well. So yes, very nicely done indeed. So that's that. Next up, obviously this is the bombay if you want the doors closed. Again, there's some nice panel line detail there. A few bulkheads here. Again, geodetic structure, which is nicely sort of configured. If you wanted to, I suppose you could drill that out actually. But I don't think I will. I'll probably just put a wash on it. Again, you've got the the elevators for the, I think, rear tailplanes. More internal bulkheads of the geodetic structure, which you can see there. I think this is the one for the yeah, tail end Charlie. We've even got the door hang on, it's a little bit snapped there. Faithfully reproduced, as though he's got the rear door open to get into the rear turret. I don't know if that's a stretcher. Looks like a stretcher. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was there, in case the crew were hurt or something like that. Again, you've got more oxygen bottles here. And this is the rear bulkhead for the pilot, and they've got the pilot seat there, nicely reproduced, although I would suggest you're probably going to need to get some aftermarket belts, or possibly just use some masking tape. And there's your engine firewalls, nice little bit of detail on that as well. And again, for the tail, nicely reproduced as regards the geodetic structure and stressed skin linen, which you can see there. That's the tail elevator, and tailplane elevators there as well, nicely done. And again, where am I? This part here is in case you want the undercarriage doors up. I think that's part of the, I don't know what that is, it's like a scoop or something. And then obviously you've got the interior detail covers for where all the control wires go, and obviously the internal workings of the rear tail bay. So yeah, tail wheel bay. So there you go, nicely reproduced again. And look, I mean, this is what I like on the actual elevators. You've got the scratch skin look on it, as if the linen is over it. So beautifully reproduced there. I like that. And again, this is the internal structure of the midsection of the bombay. Beautifully reproduced here, not an ounce of flash anywhere. And again, this is the actual floor, geodetic structure, mill rear bulkhead or wireless operators bulkheads, etc. Your main wing spar, which you can see there. Actually, it should go up that way. So when you get that on, you've got the correct dihedral on the wing. And obviously you've got the internal workings of the engine bays and undercarriage bays there. And then if you look at the top of the wing, again, there's some nice stressed skin detail on there as well. Beautifully reproduced, because if you look on the real thing, this is just how it is, and this is on the upper and lower wings. So there you go. That is gorgeous. And again, you've got the same for the engine bays and undercarriage bays. Nice internal detail, which you can see there. Again, that come out nice with a wash. And again, part of the actual structure to the bombay. Again, beautifully reproduced. And obviously, again, the other wings, and beautiful detail on the wings as well, as you can see there. So yeah, beautifully done. And then penultimate sprue is the fuselage itself. Again, you've actually got the bombay doors already opened, and then if you wanted to have them closed, you just cut that off. So that's a big help, and it's at the correct angle of where the actual bombay doors should be sitting. And again, there's lovely detail on the skin texture of the actual fuselage there, beautifully reproduced. And obviously the internal workings of the geodetic structure, which, if you go on the internals, you can see right the way through. Hence why I want to do this as a cutout. So yeah. I know Lenny on RTB models actually built the Mark 1C with one side of the fuselage off, so you could actually see the internal workings of the actual fuselage itself. Because, as he said, it's a shame to hide it away, really. So it's beautifully done. Hats off to Airfix. So there you go. And then finally, as regards to sprues, you've actually got the glass work. Again, I'm not going to take this out of the bag because I don't want to get it scratched. But the glass, your perspex for your canopy, you've got either got it if you've got the sides opened, which I may well do. The bombay sections there is beautifully reproduced, as well as the actual turret perspexes. And again, you've got the side windows showing all the actual geodetic structure as well. So yeah, beautifully done. In fact, it's actually got 1, 2, 3 cockpit perspexes. So if you scratch one, at least you got a spare. So that's a handy thing to have as well. You can get a better look at it underneath as well. Look how clear they are. Beautifully done. Even a little bow dome for the navigator station as well. So there you go. Right. Yeah, we got the decal sheet. I think that was, yeah. Oh yes. Again, you got the decal sheet. I think these are actually done by Cartograph. Again, lovely markings on there. You got a few stencils there. I don't think there was all that many on the actual Wellington. You've got the decals for the control panel, which you got there. These are around about the right colour, actually. Although I do have a set of aftermarket decals I might do for this Wellington. I don't know. We shall see. It's a toss-up between what is indicated in the kit and whether I want to do an aftermarket one. So there you go. But I am planning, as there is no more a Mark 1C in the inventory of Airfix, getting the Tulari's version of the Mark 1C, and I'll probably just do that with the undercarriage, with the fuselage covered, because there is no internal detail on that kit. And I think it's a rebox of the MPM kit as well. So yeah, this is a beaut. I mean, their Mark 1C I had in the stash was a beaut, and this one still lives up to the standard. Hats off to them. I mean, it would be great at some stage if light trumpeter, they decided to do a 148 Wellington. That would be awesome. And I hope one day they find it in their infinite wisdom to retool their old venerable Sterling, because that one does need a reboot. So if you're hearing me, Airfix, do us a retool of the Sterling. I would love to see that. Or possibly an Afro Manchester. Now that's something to think about, isn't it? They've done quite a few ranges of the old Lank. Maybe they ought to do one of the old Manchester, or even the Afro Lincoln or York. So there you go. That's an idea to put into the designer's heads. So there you go. But as regards value for money in this kit, definitely good value for money. I mean, I got this one for about 29 when it was on a deal. Normally these would go for around about 35 at the moment. The Italeri one's about 27, but again, the tooling isn't as good as what you get in these kits. So there you go. So guys, that is the inbox review of the Airfix 1/72 Vickers Wellington Mk2. I'm just going to turn the camera around and get back to yours truly. So there you have it, guys. That's the first inbox review I've done for a while. I think I'll put up another one tomorrow, because obviously at the weekend I'm going to be busy with the other half. So after that I'll do it as and when, because obviously I'll be back at work, and I don't get a lot of time to myself once I'm back at work. So there you go. Actually, what I will do, if I get a chance later today or tomorrow, I'm going to do a video on what I've actually got as regards additions to the stash. So there you go. Anyway, that's the end of this inbox review for now. Stay safe. For those who want to go to London and pay your respects to the Queen, I would suggest you go today, because they are saying, quoting, there's about 2.5 mile queue just to go and see the Queen laid in state in Westminster Hall. I personally myself decided to go to Windsor today because I thought it was more appropriate. It was one of the Queen's homes, and it is the place where she's going to be laid at rest with her husband, the late Duke. So yeah, as I say, I went up there with my friend Rosie Webb today, and Kate Frost. Basically with all of 3 of us to pay our respects. So if you're going to go anywhere, go to Windsor, but I would stay away from Windsor come Monday or Sunday, because it is going to be absolutely rammed. So I, like many people, we pay our respects to the Queen on Monday when it's her official funeral. So yeah, as I say, she may be gone, but she'll never be forgotten. So there you go. I'm going to leave that video at that. Leave your thoughts to yourself. For now, as I say, get kit crazy, happy modelling, stay safe, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.